This is Jarrod Horak, and I'm back with my next Belmont Stakes video. As I said, I'm covering 5 videos in this little mini series for the Belmont, where I'm going through and I'm covering the horses that are pointing to the Belmont, and I'm covering 2 horses in each video. Right now it's Sunday, June 4th. Belmont Stakes will be run Saturday, June 10th, less than a week away. Post positions will be drawn early next week, and we'll know the final composition of the field. But right now it looks like 10 horses. And I went through in my other 4 videos, and I covered beginning alphabetically. I did Angel of Empire and Arcangelo in my first video. I did Forte and Hit Show in my next one. Miracolo, National Treasure in my 3rd video. Raise Cain, Red Route 1 in my 4th video. And this final look at the 10 horses pointing to the Belmont Stakes, I'm going to do Tapit Shoes and Tapit Trice in this video. Now, if you're interested in my annual Belmont Stakes Day full card at Belmont Park, you will find that product at therunawayhorse.com on my sales page, Belmont Stakes Week. And if you do purchase that, there is some bonus races that will be coming your way. For Friday, June 9th at Belmont Park, they have multiple stakes races. I will throw that in as a bonus if you purchase that Saturday, June 10th, Belmont Stakes Day full card. Now, I had a lot of success on my Preakness Day full card this year. 7 top choice winners in 14 races, multiple winning wagering strategies. As for the Preakness, my top choice National Treasure won. I had my suggested $100 win wager on him, plus an $8 suggested trifecta and a $2 superfecta, and made a decent profit in that Preakness Stakes. And let's see if we can carry that momentum over and hit that Belmont Stakes again, because since 2014, the last 9 runnings of the Belmont, from 2014 to 2022, I had winning wagering strategies in 7 of those 9 years, and had some very good years mixed in there, including when Tapit won it as my top choice and had a very nice trifecta and superfecta there. That superfecta really paid well. And I've had some other good years with good paying exactas, trifectas, and superfectas. And let's see if we can have some more Belmont Stakes wagering success this year. And the final 2 horses we'll talk about: Tapit Shoes, Tapit Trice. Now, Tapit Shoes, Brad Cox is the trainer. And as I mentioned in some other videos, Brad Cox has multiple horses in the Belmont this year. And he did win the Belmont Stakes in 2021. He had saddled Essential Quality that year to victory. So that was his first Belmont. And looks like he's got another decent shot in here, especially maybe with Angel of Empire, his top contender in here. And he also has Hit Show, and then he has Tapit Shoes as well. Now, Tapit Shoes is one that's going to try to jump up and become a factor in the graded stakes ranks, because he hasn't run in a graded race yet. He's a $300,000 Tapit colt. Flower Alley is the dam sire. Tapit, as we had mentioned, and as I talked about, he shows up in multiple pedigrees. And as a sire, he has sired 4 Belmont Stakes winners. So Tapit is one that his offspring have a lot of success in this race. Now, Tapit Shoes has only run 5 times, and he's only won 1 race. So he's eligible for an entry-level allowance race. And he began his career breaking slow, 11-horse field. He was last early from post 10 in the slop, and then he ended up finishing 6th, beating 12 lengths. He really picked up his game with the addition of Lasix and Blinkers' second time out on a fast track at Fairgrounds. He rallied from 7th in a 10-horse field, and he won by 7 lengths. That was a big effort, much improved off of his debut. In his next start, his first start this year as a 3-year-old in the optional claiming ranks, he was 4th. Determinedly, Tapit's Conquest was in that race. He was 2nd. 5-horse field, really didn't set up for an off-the-pace type. Can't really hold that one against him. 4th, beaten 5 lengths. And then Luis Saez jumped aboard in his next start against Optional Claiming Company at Fairgrounds. Much better effort. Bennington won that one, and he ended up finishing a close 3rd. He stalked. He made an earlier move to get involved. And then his big forward move was last time in that Bathhouse Row Stakes. I picked him on top. He was 5-1. He was my value top choice. I thought maybe he had a little bit of a forward move in him after those 2 okay efforts in the optional claiming ranks. I thought he had the tactical edge there over Red Route 1, and he did. All of those things were true. He did run a decent race from post 9. He tracked the pace under Kent Disarm. He had the lead in the stretch and in deep stretch, but Red Route 1 made the last run, and he lunged at him at the line, and he beat him by a head. That was a much better effort, though, and Victory Formation was 3rd there, and a clear 3rd at that. He was the Smarty Jones Stakes winner earlier this year. So Tapit Trice is now going to step way up. I think one of the things Brad Cox likes is the pedigree and the slow development that he has shown. He's just not fast enough or classy enough at this point. I don't have any knocks on his pedigree. His connections are fine. The thing about this horse is, and Brad Cox had even said it himself, that, and if you look at it on paper, you can kind of concur with him, that he thinks later on this year, a few months down the line, this horse will continue to develop and maybe be better at that point. And I kind of feel that same way about him, that he's making progress. I like the looks of what he could become, at least a decent stakes horse. But at this point, at 1.5 miles, he hasn't won a stakes race yet. He's meeting multiple grade 1 winners and horses that ran well in multiple graded stakes races, and horses that ran in races like the Kentucky Derby and Preakness. They just have more experience than him. They've been battle tested against the top horses of their generation, and he's one that he's just trying to get up into that level. Sort of like an Arcangelo, horses that are trying to step up. That one seems a little more developed at this stage, and he's a little more lightly raced. But Tapit Trice continues to develop, but I still think overall, later this year, is if he's going to turn into a decent horse, he's going to need more time to catch up to some of the top horses in this division. So a minor award's not impossible. I mean, you can almost hit the all button in 4th. Anybody can jump up there and run 4th and complete the superfecta. And he's one that has the pedigree and the connections, and he's heading the right way. And it wouldn't be a stretch for him to get a minor award. But I think more likely maybe he won't do that, and then he'll continue to develop as the year goes. Now, a horse that certainly has a big chance in the Belmont Stakes is going to be Tapit Trice, because he's a grade 1 winner. And he's also a son of Tapit, and then Dunkirk is the dam sire here. They paid $1.3 million for this one. They thought he was going to be good. And Luis Saez is going to ride. Now, Todd Pletcher, his trainer, has won the Belmont Stakes 4 times. 3 of those horses last ran in the Kentucky Derby. And then his jockey is going to be Luis Saez, and he guided Essential Quality to victory in this race in 2021. So this horse, he's run 6 times. He's got 4 wins and a third. His third one was in his career debut, and then he won his next 4 starts. Broke his maiden, second time out, defeating Slip Mahoney. He was the favorite, and he rallied from 7th in an 8-horse field in the mud at Aqueduct. In his next start at Gulfstream, a 1-turn mile, he just ran away with that one. Luis Saez rode him for the first time, and he added Lasix, and he just blitzed that field. That was a big effort that day. And then he stepped up into the stakes ranks, and he's done well since he's been in the stakes ranks. The Grade 3 Tampa Bay Derby, his first stakes start, he just towered over his rivals on paper. He was the 1-2 favorite. It was a 12-horse field. He was just faster than those horses, but he really struggled early on. It looked like he couldn't get his footing. He didn't have a good start. He was wide. Saez was trying to push him along. It didn't look like he was really interested. And then finally in the stretch, he just said, okay, I'm better than these horses. I'm just going to roll home. And that's exactly what he did. And he just rumbled past them, and he won by 2 lengths. That was a good effort that day. And then in the Bluegrass Stakes, in his next start, Grade 1 Bluegrass, it was nice to see him do something a little bit different there. From the inside post, he was able to be... Luis Saez steered him out. He didn't have a bad start like he did in the Tampa Bay Derby. He didn't leave himself with as much work to do. He was able to get out of the gate, move out, make a middle move and an early move to come after Verifying, who had the tactical advantage. And I actually made Verifying my top choice there because of his perceived tactical advantage over Tapit Trice. They were my top 2, but I thought from a tactical standpoint, Verifying could get the jump on Tapit Trice if he breaks slow, but he didn't. And they also had a heads-up ride. They moved him into that race early, got him in there, and then he was able to use his stamina to outfinish Verifying. The Kentucky Derby, fast pace, it just didn't work out for him that day. He didn't have a great start, but I don't think that was a big deal. I don't think that was a deal breaker at all for him that day. Post 5 in an 18-horse field, maybe he could have done better, because what they like to do with this horse is they like to get him outside. Like you saw in the stretch in the Tampa Bay Derby and now in the backstretch where they had him outside and he was able to just chug along. If you saw his optional claiming race at Gulfstream, outside from the inside post, they were able to work their way out. So Luis Saez likes to ride him and work his way outside. Didn't have a good start in the Derby. The pace was really quick. And the first thing you think when you hear like a super fast pace, oh, it's going to be closers. But there are some closers that just don't run as well when the race shape is really fast early. And maybe that was Tapit Trice. He just did not have the kick. Mage, best closer in that race that day. There was no doubt that Mage ran the best closing race, and Angel of Empire ran the second best closing race. And Two Phils may have run the best overall race because he was involved in that quick pace. But Tapit Trice, he was just kind of running and passing some horses. He went from 18th, and then he moved up to 12th and 11th, and then he ended up ultimately finishing 7th after swinging wide in the stretch. So that race I won't hold against him, because if you look at the race shapes of his other races, they were slower, their paces weren't crazy. And what I think that they want to do with this horse, obviously, is they want to get him doing something like he did in the Bluegrass Stakes, where they could make a bit of an earlier move, get outside, and try to use his stamina to win it. So he's one of the top win contenders in this race. Obviously, if you're looking at it, your 2-year-old champion Forte is going to be one of your top win contenders. Angel of Empire, third in the Kentucky Derby. He's a very live win contender in the Belmont Stakes. You have National Treasure, your Preakness winner. With the way the race shape looks in the Belmont, he's a live win contender. And then the next one that looks like a live win contender. And these are all classy grade 1 winners as well. All of those horses, Forte, Angel of Empire, National Treasure, and Tapit Trice, there are 4 grade 1 winners in this race. So the race goes through these horses. It's just a question of which one is going to get the best trip and handle that 1.5 mile distance and win this race. So that's how it's going to play out in the Belmont. But Tapit Trice, from a pedigree standpoint, obviously with his sire, he's bred to go on, would not be surprised at all if he did well. Now, I mentioned in the Kentucky Derby, he was my top choice in the Derby, that I liked his 1.25 mile pedigree. Now, I did like his 1.25 mile pedigree, but Tapit horses sired by Tapit, just not had any luck in the Kentucky Derby, and they've done much better in the Belmont Stakes, and that's kind of Todd Pletcher's MO. He struggles in the Kentucky Derby. I think he's something like 2 for 65, and then he's won 4 Belmonts. Tapit Trice hasn't sired a Kentucky Derby winner, but he sired 4 Belmont winners. So that's the thing. It looks like Tapit Trice should run a better race than he did in the Derby. Whether that's good enough, we're going to find out. But he's one of the more logical win contenders in the Belmont Stakes. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this horse racing content. Now I'm going to be back Belmont Stakes week. I'll do a final Belmont video where I'll give out my top choice. Haven't completely decided on my top choice. It's definitely going to be most likely one of the 4 grade 1 winners is going to be my Belmont Stakes top choice. And Tapit Trice is certainly one of those, along with National Treasure was my top Preakness pick. I can see him winning the Belmont. Forte, if he can overcome that layoff, certainly he's a 4-time grade 1 winner. And then Angel of Empire. So those, I think it's between those horses that for the Belmont. We'll have to see which direction I end up going. After post positions are drawn, I can really dig in more into the past performances and have a better idea of which horse will be my top choice. So stay tuned to that video, Belmont Stakes week. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.